Let's look at an in-store debit card purchase to explain the basic flow of a PIN-based POS debit transaction. We'll explain the technical terms as we follow the payments journey. Say hello to Suzanne. She forgot to bring her lunch to work on Friday. She heads over to the deli and pays for a sandwich using her Interac debit card. To initiate the POS transaction, the merchant, in this case the deli, must offer FI-issued debit as a payment method. In this scenario, the deli is also an acquirer, since they acquire or capture transaction data from the POS device. This transaction data is sent to the deli's FI to reconcile the deli's payments. Once the deli tallies up Suzanne's purchase, the counter clerk enters the purchase data into the POS device. A connection service provider routes the payment request in real time over an online POS network to the POS scheme operator. Scheme operators are national payment networks like Interac, which allow customers to pay for goods and services or access their funds through ABMs and POS terminals across Canada. The Exchange Network is another, smaller, Canadian POS scheme operator. It interconnects approximately 2,300 ABMs operated by some of Canada's smaller banks and the majority of credit unions. The scheme operator, in this case Interac, recognizes Suzanne's FI by the information captured by the POS device. On behalf of Interac, a connection service provider routes the payment request to Suzanne's FI. Suzanne further authenticates herself by entering her personal identification number, or PIN. She also enters additional details of the transaction, for example, whether to pay from her checking or savings account, and authorizes the transaction. Suzanne's FI approves or declines the payment request and, via connection service provider, sends this information to Interac. Interac sends an approved or declined message via a connection service provider back to the POS device at the deli so that Suzanne and the counter clerk know whether the payment was approved or declined. The transaction information generated by the deli's POS device will be provided to the deli's FI, who will use it to reconcile the payment and collect the funds from Suzanne's FI through the process known as clearing and settlement.